G'day, there are 23 races so far planned for 2023. In this video I'm going to run through every single race and give you my thoughts on the venue, where to meet drivers and a whole lot more. Are you ready? Let's get started. Next up, it's off to the land of the rising sun, and what a race the Japanese Grand Prix is. The circuit is in Suzuka, and we have no more passionate fans than the Japanese. They'll wait for hours out the front of the gates to watch drivers and team people enter the track. If you have a Paddock Club ticket, you can get to this particular spot here, where you will see drivers walk in. Accommodation-wise, it's a bit of a struggle. All of the drivers stay at this hotel, which butts up to the track, but even then, they take a journey of maybe 600 metres in their car to come into the track. There are a number of local Japanese hotels. The accommodation is basic, but if you want 4- and 5-star accommodation, you're probably going to have to stay in Nagoya, and then it's about an hour on the train there and back. But let's talk about the track itself. It is a mind bender. I love the place, and get this, it is one of the cheapest races to attend as a spectator. But bring a raincoat and an umbrella because it often rains. And if you're landing into Tokyo or Osaka, get the bullet train because it is fantastic. You'll have to get off at Nagoya and catch a local train, but it's a real cultural experience and great scenery along the way. What do I give this race? Give it a B. If it had better accommodation, I'd give it an A. The third of our Middle East races is next. It's the Qatar Grand Prix. The Lusail track is about a 25-minute drive from the centre of Doha, although there are some other beautiful hotels a little bit closer to the track. I stay at the Mondrian and I absolutely love it. The track itself is stuck out in the middle of nowhere, a bit like Bahrain. You'll fly into Doha Airport and then it's a taxi into the city to your hotel, I imagine. Getting into Qatar requires you to jump a few hurdles, and that changes from time to time. Access to drivers? No, this is not the track to be hoping for a selfie or autograph. It's almost impossible to get to the main swipe gates. Of course, if you can get into the paddock, you'll have no problem. And yes, there is public transport to get you to and from the track. And just like Bahrain, there are very few grandstands away from the main straight. In fact, there are only 2. Will that change in 2023? Unsure at this stage. But in terms of a race, I don't love it. I give it a C. After Qatar, it's back to Austin, Texas for the US Grand Prix. The Circuit of the Americas track is about a 30-minute drive from the centre of Austin. There is parking around the track, but it's at a fair premium. You're probably better off taking public transport, although getting out of the track can often be very time-consuming. You'll land into Austin Airport, which is about halfway between the city and the track. Accommodation in the city and the surrounding areas is plentiful, although it is at a huge premium. If you're staying in the city, you'll probably get down to the 6th Street entertainment area, which can get a little dodgy late at night, although up on South Congress is a real nice buzz, and in general the city does love to party. There are plenty of options seating-wise. Great general admission area at the first turn, which is absolutely jam-packed on quali and race day. Access to drivers here is strictly controlled. You won't get anywhere near the swipe gates, even if you're a Paddock Club guest. And with the continuing growing popularity of Formula One in the US, expect another bumper crowd in 2023. I give this one an A. And at this point, I will remind you that if you're an F1 fan and you'd like a signed print by a driver or even a team principal, head to kimillman.com and see what's available at this moment. I can tell you that Alex Albon, Valtteri Bottas, Nick De Vries, Pierre Gasly and Gunther Steiner signed pics are available, and almost all of those prints come with a digital picture of the driver or team principal signing yours, so there's irrefutable proof of authenticity. kimillman.com, go to the shop and click on signed prints. 4 races to go and we're off to Mexico City. The track itself is not far from the airport and about a 30-minute drive from the centre of Mexico City. And I'll be upfront about this, I love this race. The people are so great, the atmosphere is electric, the stadium section is unlike anything you've ever heard, especially on race and quali day when Sergio Perez comes racing through. Accommodation-wise, lots on offer, and I always had in my mind that Mexico City would be a cheap place. It's not. It's horribly expensive for top-end accommodation. I stay at the Hyatt, which is fantastic. Often you'll have drivers stay there and a huge crowd assembles in the foyer to greet them each night. At the track though, if you have paddock access or corporate facilities above pit lane, you will be able to see the drivers as they arrive into the main swipe gates. They all arrive by an armoured car, and given the relatively low median income of Mexico, you'd think these ticket prices would be cheap. Well, they're not. They're right at the upper end. And if you choose a seat in the stadium, you just get a plank to sit on, but you do get the atmosphere. And this race has one of the best podiums ever because it's held right in the stadium with a DJ pumping music out straight after. Transport-wise, taxis and Ubers are pretty cheap and they'll drop you not too far from the entrance to the track. So what do I give this race? An A. Next up, we're off to Brazil, Sao Paulo to be exact. The track's about a 30-minute drive from the centre of the city and you'd have to say is a rather basic facility. Short, so you get to see plenty of laps. If you're flying into Sao Paulo Airport, you have a rather lengthy trip to get into the centre of the city, especially if you arrive at peak hour. Allow 90 minutes. There's plenty of accommodation options for you though in this vibrant city, which can be a little bit dangerous, so you need to be very careful of your movements and don't be too flashy. Most of the drivers tend to stay at Palacio Tangara, and like Mexico, many arrive in cars with bulletproof windows and are driven right up to the paddock swipe gates. You can get to this area if you have Paddock Club tickets, but otherwise you'll need to be a little bit sneaky. Ticket pricing is middle to upper. Getting to the track, you can use the metro or take an Uber or a taxi, but the traffic is crazy. And around the track, authorities often change the flow of traffic, which means what works one day doesn't work the next, so allow yourself plenty of time. The atmosphere at the track though is fantastic. The fans are certainly passionate, and I'm going to give this one a B. Our third and final race next year in the US will be in Las Vegas. The track itself is right in the heart of the city, and you can be in your hotel about 15 minutes after you hop into the taxi from McCarran Airport in Las Vegas. It is that close. Now obviously we haven't had a race there, but I did go to the opening, so I can tell you the track will actually go along Las Vegas Boulevard, and there'll be grandstands in front of the Bellagio fountains overlooking the track, and the paddock is being set up in a block of land that is actually owned by F1. Driver access? Unsure yet, but I wouldn't have thought that you'd get anywhere near the swipe gates unless you have a Paddock Club ticket. Accommodation-wise, there's some 150,000 rooms available, but it's not going to be easy to get a room. I think a lot of the hotels are going to be saying you must take a ticket package from us as well if you want a room, and it's going to be at a premium. Ticket pricing, well, it's right up there. $2,500 US for a 3-day ticket at Turn 1, and I think all of those are gone. And I understand that with the general admission ticketing, you actually get a certain level of food and beverage with it. Transport-wise, don't worry about cars. You'll be walking to and from the track, unless you're staying some distance away. What rating do I give this? Well, I'm going to give this a question mark because we don't know how this is going to turn out. But I think what it will be is a race for the rich and famous. And as per usual, the final race of the year is in Abu Dhabi. The track itself is situated on Yas Island, and while there are a number of hotels within walking distance of the track, they are at a huge premium. You can often stay for a quarter of the price if you're prepared to drive in. Yes, you can pick up a car, not too many public transport options available in Abu Dhabi. The track though is very close to Abu Dhabi Airport and about a 90-minute drive from Dubai Airport. Ticket pricing for this race is at the very top end, but it takes place under lights, it looks spectacular, and despite being an Arab country, alcohol is freely available at the track and in the hotels. Being a night race, you'll probably have some free time in the morning. I suggest you go and have a look at the big mosque. It is absolutely amazing. And with the race being the final one of the year, you have the propensity for a cliffhanger like we had in 2021. So I give this race an A. I hope you've learned enough to make your time viewing this video worthwhile. And if you have, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so, and join as a member. You'll find all of my digital images from F1 at prostarpics.com. There's about 1,400 pics every single race posted on that site. You'll find my F1 photo books, merchandise, wall art and signed prints at kimillman.com. And for my best images live from the track and all during the week, head to Instagram and search at Kim Illman. Thanks for watching and stay passionate.